Centering a div can be a stressful thing, something you can't seem to always get right. Sound familiar? Well, it's surprisingly simple. Let's dig into it. First, let's get a basic div structure going. We'll go with a main tag and a div inside. We need to add some style to make this actually show something. Let's put a dark background with a thick border, put some padding, and we'll make the div a lime green square. Probably the easiest way to center a div that has a fixed width anyways is to use margin 0 auto. That will center it horizontally. This is usually done for a page wrap div that has a defined width that really shouldn't be 100% but needs to be centered. Cool, easy. However, that only works if the child is display block, flex, or grid. If it's display inline block or inline, that won't work. So in this case, we'll have to put text align center on the parent tag. Bam, centered. Vertical align is a thing, but it's typically used for images laid inside of an inline text block. Here you see how our favicon is positioned. When we add vertical align middle, the image tries to center vertically, but honestly, it's finicky and generally not amazing. It works better when the image is smaller than the text. I had to wrap the text with a span, make that vertical align middle too, to get them both centered properly vertically. You can also do display table on the parent, table cell on the child to make vertical align work for you, but I still had to have a span in there to get it right. And also, tables are gross. Try not to use them unless you absolutely have to. The next method is to use position relative on the parent and position absolute on the child. This positions the child absolutely depending on the left, top, bottom, or right properties. To center it, we can do top 50% and left 50%, but you'll see it's aligned to the top left corner of the block. To make it fully centered, we have to back it up 50% in each direction using transform translate. Top and left pertain to the parent, transform pertains to the element itself, so that's why that works. This is usually used for pop-ups, otherwise known as modals. We can also use display flex by itself, nothing really happens, but we can center it horizontally using justify content center. To center it vertically, we can use align item center. Display flex is usually used for a list of elements where the widths can vary, they need to flow, and it's far easier to manage gaps in positioning than using lists, floats, and margins. We can also use display grid by itself, nothing really happens, but we can center it in the same way as flex with justify content center and align item center. We can also just use place item center to achieve the same thing. Display grid is used for columns and rows of elements that need uniform widths and heights, kind of like a table. See, centering a div doesn't have to be scary. It helps if you tackle the problem one little step at a time. I did the same thing when I wanted to create an animated snake header that I saw on some guy's website. It looked cool, so I was like, how do I make this? I took it one step at a time and came up with a pretty interesting solution. Click on the video card here to see more. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.